Hey everyone, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling e-learning architect, a career path that's got a lot of you intrigued.
Definitely a hot topic.
To help us unpack it all, we're turning to RoleCatcher. They've got career guides, interview prep, even insights into their AI-powered job platform.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack.
It is, but that's what these deep dives are for, right?
Absolutely. Let's break it down.
So e-learning architect. It sounds, well, pretty architectural. What's the deal?
Okay, so at its core, think of it as the bridge between great online courses and the tech that makes them tick. They make sure the learning experience is engaging and effective.
So they're like the architects of engagement, basically.
Yeah, you could say that.
But what are they actually doing, like day to day? What's the reality there?
So RoleCatcher's guide stresses that it's not just about knowing the latest software.
Right.
They're setting the entire technology strategy for learning at a company.
Wow. Okay. So big picture stuff.
Yeah, building the systems, evaluating if that old curriculum can even work online.
Fascinating.
Even suggesting ways to revamp it for a digital space. It's a lot.
So kind of like giving those old school courses a digital makeover.
Exactly.
I like it. But hold on. RoleCatcher also mentions a bit of a potential downside, the pressure to constantly be ahead of the tech curve.
Yeah, that's the thing. This isn't a learn it once and you're good kind of field. You got to be adaptable, always thirsty for new knowledge.
Always learning. But for someone like you who seems to thrive on that, that's almost a good thing, no?
Well, you know me too well. And that actually ties into the skill set RoleCatcher breaks down.
Let's hear it.
So, get this. Reading comprehension. Huge. Like 66% of the job description emphasizes it.
Seriously. Reading comprehension.
No joke. It's crucial.
I guess when you think about it, they're devouring research, understanding complex stuff.
Exactly. Learning theories, feedback from, subject matter experts. These can be very specific fields. We're not talking general knowledge here.
And then, on top of all that, they have to turn around and explain it all, probably to people who aren't as tech savvy.
100%. Making the complex clear. That's a skill in itself, for sure.
Talk about needing those communication skills.
Mm.
And juggling projects, tight deadlines, that's got to be stressful, no?
RoleCatcher doesn't shine away from that. It can be a fast-paced environment.
Right.
But that's also what makes it exciting. And the job outlook, booming. Demand for skilled e-learning architects is through the roof.
So more opportunity, maybe more flexibility down the line.
Potentially, yeah.
High demand, high reward, it seems.
That's a good way to put it.
So we've got high demand, high reward, but what does that career ladder actually look like?
Well, RoleCatcher maps it out in 3 stages. Junior, mid-level, senior e-learning architect.
Okay, makes sense. Classic progression.
But they don't just leave it at that. They actually give you example profiles to show you what each stage might actually look like.
Oh, cool. So you can see where you might fit in down the line.
Exactly. And it's not just about climbing a ladder, right? It's about how your responsibilities actually evolve.
So you might start assisting, but then end up leading a whole team, setting the strategy.
That's the idea. One example really stood out to me. A senior e-learning architect had a PhD.
Wow, a PhD. Talk about being dedicated to the field. Okay, so let's say someone listening is like, all right, I'm sold. This is it. This is the career for me. How do they actually find those e-learning architect jobs?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's AI-powered platform comes in. And let me tell you,
Hit me.
this thing is like your secret weapon for the job hunt. Tools for everything, seriously.
Yeah.
You need to make a killer resume. They got you. You're prepping for the interview and feeling nervous. They got you covered.
You're speaking my language. Streamlining, efficiency, I'm all about it.
Exactly. Remember earlier you were talking about cutting through all the information overload? Well, they have this browser extension, RoleCatcher.capture. It lets you save jobs from any website. No more endless scrolling, no more losing track of applications.
Oh, I love that. Time saver, sanity saver, it's a win-win. But okay, let's get a little futuristic here because RoleCatcher dives into this whole thing about AI and hiring itself. Specifically, beating the automated recruiter, which I gotta admit sounds kind of intimidating.
It's very sci-fi movie, right?
It is.
Like you're up against a machine, not a person.
Right.
But what if you could actually understand how that machine thinks?
Oh, okay, I like where you're going with this.
RoleCatcher breaks down how these algorithms work, what they're looking for, so you can use that to your advantage.
So you're not just blindly submitting your resume into the void.
Exactly. Imagine being able to see your resume through the eyes of that AI recruiter. What would it highlight? What might it completely miss? That's the kind of edge RoleCatcher gives you.
Next level stuff. Okay, so RoleCatcher helps you optimize for the machines, But they also emphasize that human skills still make a huge difference, right? You can't just be a robot yourself.
100%. Technology is huge in e-learning, obviously, but it's the human touch that actually makes it effective. It's your communication skills, your ability to collaborate, even that top-notch reading comprehension we talked about.
Right. Those aren't just bullet points on a resume. They're like superpowers in this field.
Absolutely.
It's like you've got to have the tech skills for sure, but you can't forget that human element.
Couldn't agree more. And actually, RoleCatcher highlights some other organizations that are doing really interesting work in e-learning,
Yeah.
kind of pushing the boundaries.
Like cool.
They mention UNESCO, for one, and ASCD, that's the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development. Oh, and the Online Learning Consortium.
Okay, so a good mix of like global organizations, education-focused groups.
Exactly. So if you really want to dive deeper into this whole world, connect with other folks in the field, those are great places to start.
It's like this whole network of e-learning enthusiasts out there. I love it. It's amazing to see how far things have come, you know?
Yeah.
Remember those early online courses, kind of clunky, not always the best design.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're talking about technology that's actually shaping the future of how we learn. It's exciting.
It really is. And that's what makes this such a cool field to be in. It's not just about designing a course, it's about shaping the future of education. What do we want that to look like for the next generation? How can we make learning more accessible, more engaging for everyone? These are big questions.
They are big questions. And e-learning architects, they're kind of on the front lines figuring it out.
Exactly.
So to everyone listening, if you're passionate about learning, if this whole idea of technology and education, how they intersect, if that gets you fired up, well, maybe this is your calling. Maybe you could be designing the future of education.
The possibilities are endless.
They really are. And on that note, I think that's about it for our e-learning deep dive. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for these awesome resources. Seriously, so much good stuff to think about.
For sure.
And of course, huge thanks to all of you for joining us. We hope you learned a thing or two, got inspired to explore the world of e-learning. Until next time, keep those learning caps on.